Alright, hello everyone. So, I haven't worked on this character for a while, so I thought it'd be, I don't know if I want to say fun to work on the level 80 project again, but it's time. It's been a while, might as well keep working on it. I calculated about how long it's going to take today to get from level 55 to 56. It's clocking it at almost exactly 4 hours. So, we're already going to get to that point where I'm going to do like half a level pretty soon, probably next time, because this is going to be quite a day. Matter of fact, if we get like halfway through today and I just feel like we just start playing too much of this, I might go ahead and call it early. But I feel pretty caught up on stuff, so I don't feel bad about doing this today. Got a couple of videos out, did some productive stuff. It's only like 11 o'clock in the morning here. Didn't really have anything else to do. You want to go home? That's fair, I see. Yeah, I mean, I kind of decided to do the level 80 project early today, just so that we could have, like, better stuff going on later in the day, I guess. Because I do plan on playing the Necro Gauge later. But, yeah. Stuff. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Today we are listening to C418. Not just their Minecraft, it's all of their music, everything they've ever done. So this includes like side projects, Cookie Clicker, apparently they helped work on that. So a lot of stuff. This is going to be a very chill thing. Honestly, I think if someone wanted to use it as like a sleep thing, you could totally play this whenever you're going to bed. Like, what's more sleep-inducing than just watching someone do Beatdown Bar Brawl for like 4 hours straight? Like, this has to be it. This is the thing. Help farm the watch time, maybe. Help do the funny. I would appreciate it. Got a call from Georgia. That's weird. I don't live anywhere. Well, I mean, you live kind of close to there, I think, yeah? Technically. Just from, like, an overall distance thing. Closer than I do. You get all sorts of spam calls and stuff. That's weird. I don't get any calls for anything anymore. Which I would totally expect to, but I just don't. Maybe it's because I literally just, like, don't answer phone calls from numbers that I don't know. Which, like, that's really bad practice. But I would only really answer a phone call if I was expecting a phone call. If I'm not, I hope that they either leave me a voicemail or that it was unimportant. Or that they would text me if it was really that important, you know? Like, that kind of stuff. That's how I do it. Probably something about being a Zoomer. But that's just how I handle phone calls and stuff. I mean, of course, if it's someone I know, I'm going to pick up, but if it's just a number, nah, I'm good. No thank you. I'll wait.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl! Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive!
But yeah, I also calculated about how many runs we'll have to do, which is how I got the overall hour time. It's looking about 240 runs. Which is like nothing compared to how many we have to do to get this done. but still, that's a lot. Because each run takes at least a minute, so that's like almost 240 minutes, which is 4 hours. It really stacks up after you look at it for a while. You just finished your test in summer school, now you can watch? Hey, let's go. Well, unfortunately, you were joining me for a kind of a slower day. This is going to be what we do for about 4 hours. I will be playing Necro Gauge later, about 4 hours from now. But if you just want to hang out, I appreciate it. Whatever you want to do. You can talk about stuff, you can just take a nap, I don't know. Yeah, I actually made a tutorial this morning. That was fun. Basically, I was just in a Discord, and I saw that 2 people were like trying to ask questions about weapon parts, and they were not getting good help at all. So I just decided to help them. And then it ended up with me just having a desire to make a YouTube video about it, basically, like instantly. Which is probably fine, I think. But yeah, just explaining like what bada booms people might use for rocket jumping and why. I guess I didn't mention that people would use like a low-level bada boom, but like surely that would just be obvious, I would think. Have you seen the new Black Mirror season? I don't really watch a whole lot of TV, honestly. It's kind of weird. I have this thing where I like feel bad if I'm not actively doing something productive anymore. So I can't get myself to just sit down and watch TV. Like there's just a part of my brain that says like I should be doing something at least. Which is probably like a thing I should work on, but yeah, I just can't get my brain to just let me sit there and just watch something for hours. I know most people can, and like that's how it should be, but for me I just can't.
Just pick a fight with the trucks and stay alive.
You know, eventually we might be able to actually just one-shot melee everything in here. Actually, we'll definitely be able to do that. I wish you'd one-shot me. I get that. That's fair. Understandable.
Get some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the trucks and
Maybe I should retexture the Beatdown Bar Brawl next. That could be fun. Just make everything Minecrafty on high res. Replace all the planks with like the oak wooden planks or something. Minecraft. I don't know if I want to make that that stupid video that I made into a public one yet. The one about being able to like expand your taskbar. Because like it's really funny. Like don't get me wrong. You haven't watched it? Okay. I wasted like 20 minutes just working on that. And I don't even think I'm making it public or anything. I just thought it was funny. Oh yeah, let's set ourselves to LAN real quick. Just so that we don't have to worry about connection issues. Hey, I see. So how's work going today? It's going fine, you're just grumpy? I don't know, like, if this is you grumpy, then I'm kind of scared of that. What do you mean? I mean, you've said some sus stuff already. And then you just said that you're grumpy. Yeah. That basically. Oh yeah, I'm also kind of terrified of the GM that we're going to be doing later today. Like, Moogle and I. Probably, hopefully also Tricky, I would imagine. Because I don't want to doom-end this GM. It's really rough. Like, it's such a mob-dense thing. And now it's actually going to be, like, difficult mobbing now as well, on top of that. And it's probably the most densely packed, like, thing that we have. You've returned from yesterday. Well, hello. Unfortunately, it's gonna be a little bit of a slow couple hours here. Because we're trying to level up the Salvador for the funny. But, in about 3.5, 4 hours, I will be doing more Necro Gauge. But if you just want to hang out, we're keeping it chill for right now. I feel like it's fair to warn people about what we're doing here. Milk is keeping it chill. I have no chill. No, I see. This is just how you are, though. To be fair. You're just that gamer. Ilhang currently still farming for items on Yusal, so you're here for the vibes. Gotcha. Okay. Well, we got Minecraft music. We've got constant Beatdown Bar Brawl. Should be good. You're the local slightly sus goof. Yeah, a little bit. A little less slightly, a little more actively some days.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl! Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive!
You know, I think I just realized why this type of farm is so much worse than like an RNG based farm. Because like with RNG, there's like, you know, there's a chance that you could just be done whenever. And so you don't have like the mental fact that like there is a starting and an end point for when you're going to be done. Versus this, where I know exactly how long it's going to take because I can calculate it. And also the fact that I'm going to be doing the same thing 240 times. And I know exactly that number. And every run takes a minute, and any deviation will result in a much longer time, probably.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar
Are you leveling up? Surely there's better and faster ways, or are you farming for tokens as well? Okay, so basically the question was, can you hit level 80 in normal mode? And the answer is yes. Yes, you 100% can. And unfortunately, this is the most efficient way to do it after a certain level. Because the Beatdown Bar Brawl has a guaranteed amount of XP that doesn't reduce. And it only takes a minute per run. And it's guaranteed XP every time. So, yeah. Now the only thing left is to actually do it. Level 80 in normal? Yeah. It's a bad idea. But we have a rough time estimate of how long it would take. So far, the time estimates have all been pretty much correct. So it is doable. It would take approximately 140 hours to go from level 50 to level 80, farming the Beatdown Bar Brawl in normal mode. And we're already down to like 129 hours-ish. And I have about 5,000 hours in this game already. So I think if I spent a little over 150 of those hours doing this, that's not so bad. How many runs is that if it's a minute per run? I don't remember. So it would be take like 130 times 60, and that's about how many runs it is. Oh no, 140 times 60. I can probably do that in my brain, just give me a second. So what is that, like 8,400 runs? Something like that? 8,400? Okay. So that many runs. Which, like, that doesn't sound bad, but then you realize each run takes at least 1 minute. Which is also why this character doesn't get worked on very often. But it's a project to do on the side. Just like a calm little chill thing to do on slow days. Or days that I want to be slow. Probably about how many runs a pilot will take to get 194% sham? Perhaps, yeah. This character will hit level 80 before most people would get like a perfect height of Terra, or a sham, yeah. Now what would be hilarious is if I lost power during this or something. Because if this gets interrupted, that really, really sucks. Because that means I have to put this in an editing software and then, like, stitch them together. And I don't know if you know much about editing software, but if you try to just stitch two clips together that are, like, multiple hours long, it gets very upset at you. And then it takes about 3 or 4 hours to export it for you. And, like, fix it. On average, it takes 3,750 runs to get a perfect sham. Oh. So we're a little further than that. But also, that sounds like it would take way longer than farming this, because you have to, like, wait for bunker to go around, and then, like, actually rest, and then actually, like, die and actually drop it, and then you have to look for the drop. So maybe this is still faster. Also, I'm really glad I play this game a lot because I can kind of be lazy with how hard I look at the screen, and that'll save us some eyesight, or at least some attention, so that I don't have to, like, try as hard, which is really nice. Okay, so we're at about a 10th of the way done. We're at about 23.5 minutes of time. So that's almost 24 minutes, which is just about where we thought we would be. Which means we're doing this right. We're doing the numbers well, we're moving pretty well. So far, so good. I'm sure we'll deteriorate, but we'll take a little bit of our, like, extra time right now. It could also be the fact that some of the enemies still give XP as well. That'll help the numbers a little bit. You love the Borderlands community. Everyone's so nice. You've been helped so much yesterday going through different streamers asking for help on farming Border. You were sent a website for learning weapon parts. Oh yeah. A lot of the actively participating Borderlands community is nice. But if you go to, like, the corners to, like, look for help, it gets a little more rough. Like, even Redditors can be, well, that's not really a surprise, but Reddit can be not so helpful. Sometimes Discord is not so helpful. But if you, like, go to a YouTube or, like, a Twitch or something like that, usually people try to help, at the very least. Especially if they're people who are like here really often. I don't know if that's how statistics works, but for each individual run, you have a 1 in 3,750 chance to get the drop. No, so that makes sense. I think that's how that would work then. I think it's different when you're doing multiple runs in a row. I don't know. Because, like, you would think your odds get better per run, but realistically, it should still be the same flat rate. But it's just like the human brain wants to believe that, like, oh, I've done this multiple times, so my chances should be higher. Pretty sure. Would it be faster to Topnia spam, or are you using a flacker because you can get it from the vendor? I am using the stuff that I have because the enemies are level 50, and if I was using a gun that wasn't level 50, it would be really, really hard to get these kills. So the flacker is probably like level 30-ish, but the rocket launcher I actually got from Terramorphous back when I was level 50, back when he was the optimal XP. And so we're using that just because it is our best damage for right now. And getting a Topnia would actually be really, really hard at this level in normal mode. Although it would be nice to have some more consistency, because sometimes flacker pellets just love to bunch up in a corner or like go somewhere weird.
Cause it's time for a beatdown bar brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and
Statistics is weird, hence gambling addictions. Yeah. It's really weird to me that, like, you can really warn people about something before they go and do it, and then they'll still go do it. Like, if you tell someone, like, hey, don't do a drug, you might become addicted, and then you're gonna have problems. Sometimes people will be like, yeah, that makes sense. But then you, like, take those same people and you're like, here's gambling. And they're like, I can do this. This is fine. And their brain, like, manages it differently for some reason. It could be an ego thing. I don't know. I don't know how that works. And I don't have much room to really speak, because you could argue that I do have an addiction to gaming. But it's largely in part to the fact that I've grown up with video games since I could remember. So for me, it's less of like an addiction thing, and it's more of like, this is just what you do when you're bored. Like, it's just how it's always been, it's what we've always done. So I don't really think of it as an addiction type thing. And I am able to, like, put down a video game to, like, go do stuff. I'm not, like, confined to it. I understand and acknowledge that video games can be used as a form of escapism, stuff like that, you know? So, like, I understand what I'm working with, and what what my cards are here. But I also see the capacity that video games have for enjoyment, and how they've been able to help people be successful, and I can argue that as well. Stuff like that. Oh, yeah. The crossfire, for some reason, always looks like it has at least 1 second on the timer. But if it's 1 second, it's actually 0. Yeah. So if you do find a 1.0 fuse, it will be 0. It'll be instant. You have a 1.0 longbow slag in the vendor, level 30. You were told it's the best slagging grenade. Just wanted to confirm before you bought it. Yep. It is. It's basically... It's basically just multiple bouncing betties thrown into one grenade with a couple of extra effects. And so it just has a really, really high chance to slag because it's constantly throwing out different forms of slag. It's super duper nice, yeah. Gaming is fine as long as it doesn't negatively impact the other areas of your life. I agree. Yeah. Like, I'm able to... If there comes a point where I realize, like, okay, this is kind of becoming a problem, I can stop playing games. And I can be like, okay, yeah, no, we need to do something. Now, that being said, I realize that for the past, like, 2 months, I have almost exclusively been playing games, and I have almost exclusively been uploading videos about video games. I have been working with video games and etc. But I don't know. I don't know what the excuse is. I guess it's just like other people do it and they like make a life out of it. So like that's okay somehow in my mind. Like that's the justification. And also I just came off of a breakup and I felt really, really bad after the end of it. So like this was a good distraction for me. And I also realized that like I probably won't be able to continue playing video games just like for eternity. And I'll need to do other stuff, obviously. And I know that. But I'm enjoying it while I'm here. Sag, hope you're okay. I'm good. Also, hi Coxie. How you doing? I think you're fine. I think I am. But yeah. Well, okay, so here's the thing. I guess I'll explain a little bit. So, I was in a long-distance relationship. My best friend that I met on Minecraft, like 10 years ago at this point. And then about 4 years ago, we decided, hey, we should, like, date. Wouldn't that be cool? So we dated. And then about 3 years passed, and we were like, hey, we're both grown now. I'm gonna move. So I moved up to where she lived. It's about 500 miles north. Cold place. Cold. Lived there for almost a year. I thought things were going pretty well. They realistically were going pretty well overall. But we just had a couple things that like didn't line up. And we were a little bit too different of people. So she wanted to call it. And I'm not gonna be that guy, right? So I accepted. I was like, yes, that's fair. This makes sense. Okay. And so we broke up. And about 2.5, 3 months have passed. We still keep in contact. We're still trying to be friends. I mean, it hurt a lot, obviously. But, like, overall, it's fine. We're still friends. It's still good. we're both young. It's not like there isn't life left to live or something like that, you know, realistically. So it's fine.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, 'cause it's time for a
Was the relationship ended on good terms? Yes, it was very good terms.
the trunks and stay alive.
Although, the way that it kind of went down, uh, one night, her friends were, like, they had a plan that they were, like, gonna go out and do stuff. And then all of her friends basically canceled on her, so she was a little bit distressed. So I thought I would be nice, and I was like, oh, I'll go with you somewhere. Would you like that? And she said, sure. So we got some Chick-fil-A, and we camped out in a parking lot, and we ate our Chick-fil-A. And then that's when we talked, and that's when she let me know, like, hey, like, this doesn't work for me. And yeah, so that was basically it. We just talked about it over some Chick-fil-A in a parking lot somewhere, and it was kind of later in the night, I think. But the funny thing is, one time, after I moved back home, because I did have to move back in with my family, because, you know, that's how it is, whatever. And one time, my mom was bored, so she was like, hey, do you want to go eat and, like, walk around a store or something? And I said, sure. And so we got some Chick-fil-A, and we parked in a parking lot, and I got stressed out because we were parked in a parking lot. And I just thought that was funny that I would have that feeling in a completely unrelated situation where it's like, that shouldn't, like, be a thing. But it was just interesting that, like, the mind made that connection for, like, no reason whatsoever. That is understandable. Yeah. It's just interesting to just see how my brain, like, put those together. Brain is trying to protect you. Basically, I think, yeah. But no, we're good. It's good. Everything works out how it works out, probably for a reason, and if not for a reason, at least it'll be fine in the long run. That's how I like to think about it. Also, yo, this is some good milk lore. That's gonna be, like, permanently on YouTube, and, like, one person is gonna find years from now and be like, oh, milk lore. And to that person I say hello. Drama can be like that. I don't know if you consider the breakup traumatic, but yeah. Well, I mean, it was... I guess I would say it was desperate on my end. Because, for me, like... Obviously I knew, like, there was a problem or two, but I thought overall it was going great. So I, like, did the whole thing of, like, are you sure I can't change anything? Is this what you want? etc. Like, I tried to talk through it with her to make sure she was really set. But she was set, so I said okay. And that was pretty much it. You're gonna find someone to be with for longer eventually? Yeah. And, like, you know, the future is a hell of a thing. You never know what will happen. Basically, she was worried that I was holding her back and that she was holding me back. So, like, maybe there's future where, like, that's not a problem. Or maybe we just are friends from now on, and that's also okay.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, 'cause
Oh, well, yeah, Coxie, I think that everybody kind of hopes that there's, like, a positive future out there for themselves, and I think that's reasonable to assume. Because, like, if you think about it, everyone else that's existed up until this point has probably been stressed out, probably had problems as bad or worse than you have had, And there's billions of people in the world, so like clearly it still works. So it's gonna be fine. There's billions of examples about why it's fine. Because if it wasn't fine, people wouldn't have so many kids. And then those kids wouldn't have had kids. So on. So the population for that kind of example is really large. At the very least, the rock still turns. Yeah. That's how I like to think about it, too. Eventually, like, everybody finds someone, I think. Like, my mom and my stepdad, they didn't know each other until, well, not too long ago. And they're both already, like, 40 plus, so it can take time. In the meantime, you gather experiences, you build yourself up as a person, stuff like that. Yeah, Coxie, I get that. I think a lot of people had that situation, or that type of thing. I think at the time I was just too scared, basically, and I'm glad I was. Because I existed long enough to realize, like, hey, things are fine. What do you mean? Regardless of all that, whatever feelings you feel are totally fair and valid, and you're allowed to feel them without feeling guilty for that other people have it worse or anything like that. I mean, yeah, I understand that. I don't feel guilt about feeling my emotions. I feel happy that I can feel them. Because that means that something still works. Like, I was talking to Tricky, because Tricky was kind of going through something a little bit. And he was talking about how he felt numb. And I was like, well, have you felt sad recently? And he was like, well, yeah. And I was like, that's not numb. Have you felt, like, happy recently? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, that's not numb. Neither of those sound numb to me. Those both sound like emotions. You're just sad right now. You will be fine. You have been fine. You know you will be fine. ETC.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
Could be dulled emotions as well, or partially repressed, yeah. But still. You feel like that's where you're at? It could be. It very well could be. The thing I've noticed is, whenever I look backwards, I always realize, like, man, I enjoy that memory, or like, man, I really experienced some stuff there. And then I realize I'm probably still doing that right now, and I'll look back on it, and I'll have that thought process. So, like, there's probably something going on right now that's actually like an emotion, and I just don't realize it. So I like to think about it like that. you know? Or maybe your emotions really are dulled and you're just kind of in a game lobby right now, just queuing up for the next one. Who knows? That could also be a thing, sure. I doubt it. You just probably don't know it's there yet, but you'll realize it after it's done. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like, no one can really teach you emotions because they're emotions, though, you know? Because everyone grows up differently, everyone is taught differently, everyone's raised differently. So, for some people, certain emotions are different. When some people get sad, they can't eat. When some people get sad, they become more productive. So it's different. It is just different for everybody. So it's not like, it's not very teachable. Of course there are like outliers, like if you're mad, learning how to control being mad is important. And I think everyone should do that. I think Tricky should do that. I'm gonna call Tricky out. He gets mad and he knows he gets mad. Like the other day, he got mad whenever we were doing the dungeon because a mechanic was weird. And I was like, but why are you mad about it though? And he was like, because it's dumb. And I was like, okay, but it's a video game and it's gonna consistently be that. So, like, why would you get mad about it if that's just how this thing is? Now, if it were like another human being who was like being like an antagonist, probably I'd get it. I'd understand getting mad at that. But the fact that it's just a video game that like just is a video game, is coded as a video game, and is consistent as a video game, why are you mad about it? And also, if you realize you're mad, why are you not separating yourself from it or something? And also, his anger feels really false. But I also have a really hard time whenever I am angry. So, to me, whenever he is angry, that is like a very genuine emotion. But I know for him, it's like barely anything. So I like get annoyed whenever he gets mad.
It's time for a beatdown bar brawl. Just
Because I know what it takes to make me like physically loud. And so to hear someone get physically loud is like, okay, you need to stop. This is enough. Stop. And also, I don't think he realizes that for a lot of people, anger is not an enjoyable trait. And so, working on that would be good for him overall when it comes to, like, friendships, relationships, etc., you know? Stuff like that. It would help. You get loud all the time, though, with memeing with the boys? I mean, I get loud. Like, I get excited. But I don't yell at things as if I'm, like, upset. Tricky yells at things as if he's upset. You get that? Yeah. I guess in my brain, no one likes to see someone angry, and also you can mess yourself up by being angry at the wrong times. So being able to control it is very important to me. But I guess if you're more of a free-flowing person, maybe it's not as much of an issue. Oh, well, yeah. Sorry, I just read back to things that you were saying, Coxie. Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you do just have to, like, let yourself be in a state so that you can be done with that state sooner, or, like, you can just deal with it then. Like, I don't cry very often, but whenever I do, it's disgusting. I'm one of those. I'm like the ugly. I get ugly. There's a line for me, and it's like it takes a lot. When you're stressed or got other stuff going on, you get frustrated and annoyed way easier than when you're experiencing something that's recurring annoyance or frustration. It gets worse every time. It's like you're experiencing every other time this thing has frustrated you in the past. It just builds. Yeah, well, I don't really get a good build of frustration because legitimately, I realize that if I don't burn myself out as a human being, I will, like, probably have that problem. Because, like, I go to the gym at least 4 days a week. I will be physically exhausted quite often. And then, like, I will socially exert myself because I am not social. Like, legitimately, I'm telling you, if I met you in public, I am that awkward guy who sucks to have conversation with. Like, it sucks. It's really bad. But for here, we're chilling. But yeah, so I get my physical energy out, I get my social energy out. Emotionally, I kind of withdraw to myself, and I deal with my own emotions by myself usually. Sometimes I'll be extroverted about it, but it's very rare, and it requires a lot. But, like, I expend myself. So it's very hard for me to get genuinely mad about stuff anymore. I think for you, anger is its own thing, separate from all that. That's fair. I just find if I don't have the energy to be upset, it's harder for me to be upset. Oh, yeah, no, that's fair. Also, let me drink. I know if I get mad, I shut off. I'm just that type of person. And I kind of had a hard time conveying that whenever I was with Grace, I think. Because she lives in a very close-knit family that always ask each other what's going on. They always want to know where everyone is, what's going on, what are you doing. And I come from a family of, like, text me so I know you didn't die. And, like, that's good. I grew up in that. We were all very, like, independent very early and very quick. But yeah, whenever I get upset, I have, like, a mental barrier that gets put in place. Like, it feels legitimately like someone just puts a wall right behind your eyes. And you don't want to associate with anybody because you know that you're upset. That's what happens to me. Also, I guess I'm kind of learned in like philosophy and psychology type stuff a little bit. I say that, but I'm very susceptible to both of these things, probably. So, like, I have those to also fall back on. I can be like, hey, why? And then I'll think about why. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm dumb. Gonna clear the deep dark fully? Good luck. Are you gonna get rid of, like, all the skulk, or are you gonna leave the skulk and just get rid of, like, the sensors and the shriekers? All the sensors and shriekers? Gotcha. Okay. Good luck. And then the loot. Oh, well, of course, the loot, yeah. Gotta have the loot. Should really get rid of the loading screens. Jolts popped in yesterday, and he was talking to me a little bit because I was messing with the text mod, and he showed me like all of the custom loading screens that he had made, and I was talking to him about the fact that like I don't know how I feel about the pitch black loading screens that people are okay with now, and he basically said like that's how he felt at first, but then he used it and he just got used to it and it's fine now. And I might do that, because that would give me slightly faster load times, which I barely need, but they would be nice. I would just find it really jarring and really out of place to be staring at the void for a couple seconds every time I entered a load screen, you know? Because, like, this would be pitch black. Your therapist and her son have very similar experiences to you when it comes to anger? Oh, well, that's good. It's good that not only are they versed in therapy, but they're very familiar with the type of energy that you're dealing with. Letting it out is the hard part. Yeah, it is. You see, because, like, it's very hard for me to feel angry or let out, like, angry emotions on purpose. I've got myself too trained to be like, okay, I am mad, I'm just gonna go away, I will come back when I am better. And then that's it. But, like, I don't know how one would express anger emotions in a positive way. Because that's, like, the antithesis of why you're angry. It's not because of a positive creative thing, usually. It's because you're angry. Although I guess that could just be me. Maybe it's more of a competitive emotion. Maybe it should be used for that. Maybe it should be a driver. Probably a driver. But that's also not how it's taught, usually. I've never actually thought about it like that. I guess it could be... It's not... Maybe it's not supposed to be, like, some negative emotion. Maybe it is just there as, like, a fueling emotion. It's a challenging one. It's the one that drives you to, like, go do a thing out of, like, proving people wrong and stuff, so it's fine. But also, I don't know how that would tie into being mad at, like, random stuff, like Tricky does. You know? Like, that wouldn't make sense to me. The world is complex. It's okay. Okay that it's complex. That's why rage rooms exist. Well, I feel like if I went to a rage room, I wouldn't even want to do anything. Because that's never how I've expressed myself. So it would be foreign. It'd be very, very foreign. Also, hi Spiky. How you doing? How's it going? You good? It's going good. We're just having a chill day, talking about the world. Talking about emotions and stuff. You know, manly stuff. Yeah. Were you built for tough, brother? Talk about our feelings. Also, we have more XP than we're supposed to at this point, which I don't understand how we did that, but I'm very glad that we did. That is good for us. You think there's probably a better way to label these two different feelings rather than calling them both anger? Probably. Minecraft music kind of going hard. Yeah, there probably is. I don't know it. You go to a wrestling event today in like 4 hours? That sounds fun. I've never gotten into physical contact sports, but I know that it would be a good idea. I know that learning how to defend yourself not only gives you the confidence that you can, but also gives you a better feeling about how you can use your own body, which is really important. It would be good to get into. But I don't know if I would specifically like wrestling. I think I would like either jiu-jitsu, because that's useful and basically wrestling, almost. I know people would get upset if they heard that. Or something like taekwondo. Something that you could like not have to hug another man on the floor for. But they would both be useful to learn, and I should. Because taekwondo is more of your like striking them while you're both up. Whereas Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is more of like, you're both on the floor, figure it out. So they're both good. They're both good to know. And of course there's other ways of fighting that I would also probably need to learn, but those would be like two good basic ones to understand. It would cover a lot of the bases. It's gonna be your first one you will remember. Oh, cool. Also, a lot of people who wrestle into adulthood are, like, really strong. Like, they look like bears. It's incredible. But it is also two human beings pushing each other and pulling each other to the extent that other humans could. So it is basically maxing out in effort. Farming Vora is making you want to delete the game? That's fair. I understand.
Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
Oh, are you at OP10? Are you doing like an OP10 Vora fight? Or are you like somewhere in progression level-wise? Okay. OP10? Okay. Do you have a shield with alkaline immunity on it? Because that'll help a lot. Because if you don't have to worry about the damage over time, then you don't have to worry about constantly out healing it. And you only really need to focus on AoEs and stuff like that. Also, are you doing like a deputy build? So like shotguns? Or are you using like a pistol build? What are we doing? We love a good theory craft. Emperor Burn? Oh, okay. That's not too bad to set up. So, as far as I'm aware, as long as your world burn is empty, because you believe Vora has 2 times health, yep, he does. At OP10, it is glitched to where he has OP10 health times 2, which is really, really dumb, and they're never going to fix it, so that hopefully people will stop playing this game and go play different games and they'll make more money. But, yeah. Basically, just make sure your world burn is empty so that you get money shot bonus for it. Try to aim it roughly so that it'll hit Vora in his big dumb mouth so that you'll get crits. If you go into fight for your life mode, focus on Chief Ngatu, and then kill him. And then use that no-kill like overkill bonus to focus back on Vora. And then hopefully with those two, that should just be enough to basically roll over Vora. And of course, if your world burn has a big magazine size, that will help. If you have on like a monk class mod that gets its mag size up to 12, that will be the most optimal amount of damage, because you'll get the max money shot benefit out of it. But you can still do it without all that mess. Also, if you have Commander Lilith's Fight for Sanctuary DLC done, you could go get the Toxin buff, because there is a glitch to let you keep it through maps. So you could do that as well if you don't have that. We could talk about that if you need it or are interested. You have a green true neutral plus 92, so your world burn is 13 mag. Okay, that's good. The world burn needs to be completely emptied so that you get the money shot bonus from it transferred over to your left hand. Okay, so Commander Lilith's Fight for Sanctuary DLC gives the player a toxin buff. Basically, the areas with the green clouds that you stand in and you get that little buff marker on your hotbar, that, while you have that, you have 2 times damage. You can go to the Doll Abandon, drive a car over to where you would first encounter the spores and stuff, get out of the car, walk into the gas, look back at your car, and enter it while you're still in the gas. You'll keep the buff, and then you can drive away, go fast travel to wherever you want, and you'll still have the buff as long as you don't save quit. There are videos about it as well. I don't know exactly what you would look up. Probably like Borderlands 2 Lilith DLC toxin bug. That would probably get you some results, I would imagine. Can you bleed out and still keep it? I think you can, yes. But it will basically just double your damage output on top of everything else that you have going on. So that could also help you out there. And with all of that put together, I mean, you should be able to just wipe the floor with Vora. If you're still here after I hit level 56, and you still remember, and you're curious, you could re-ask me, and I will show you. But also, that's going to be about... Take the time that we've been here, multiply it by like 3. That's how long it's going to be until I can do that for you. But I could do that. You'll try it with no video, then if it doesn't work, you'll look up a video? Okay. So basically, just go to the second map of Lilith DLC, spawn a car, drive forward and right, hugging that wall, until you find an entrance to like that down open area where the toxin is. Get your car as close as you can, jump out, stand in the toxin, turn around, and then try to get back in your car. And if you do that, from there you can just drive back to the fast travel, hop out, and go to the map that you want. Should work. You didn't know that bug existed? Well, it's very rare that people actually use it, because, I mean, if you're using, like, damage bugs, most people wouldn't think of it. A lot of farms require, like, save quitting to keep the car out of the toxin. Well, you can't actually drive it into the toxin where the toxin is on that map, but you can get it really close to it. I think the description for this bot is just going to be, we wear Heelys to escape our feelies. Or something like that. Oh yeah, also, you don't need it, but if you just wanted to wear a B shield on top of all that damage, just because why not, might as well. You could. You could also wear a B shield. Just to put that little extra seasoning on top. Obviously, compared to everything else your character is doing, it's not going to be as much damage, but like, a little extra stank on it. Just because why not? If Interfacer is non-elemental more often than it's elemental like CC is, then a practicable fire matching grip Interfacer would be even rarer. About a 1 in 560. Well, fortunately, you don't need to save quit to farm Vora. Unfortunately, that's still a lot of kills. But you could keep killing Vora over and over, and then you could just go pick up loot and sell it so that the area doesn't get like overcrowded and lag out. And you could just keep doing that For as long as you are sane. You've had 3 practicable non-elemental, no matching grip interfaces out of 9 kills, though. I think your kill speed will definitely go up if you do all of that extra stuff. And also, don't sleep on no kill like overkill. Because if you get 1 kill, and then you back out and you immediately go for a second kill, you'll have a lot of DPS going into it. You could probably get a good couple of kills every Gunzerk, and just try to keep that rolling until you run out of Gunzerk.
Some rear, 'cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
4 Hawkeyes and 5 interfacers, gotcha. I mean, you've had pretty good RNG so far. At least you've gotten more of the useful one. Also, I still think titling the streams prepping for TVHM is funny. As dumb as it is, I know it's stupid. But it's so funny. Are you gonna delete this cell when you hit 80? No, this is a trophy. I can't do that. I will put him on a thumb drive and I will put him on a little pedestal or something. That's how we'll do it. Are you gonna enter TVHM? No. Although I could duplicate this character and then use it for funny stuff. But it wouldn't feel genuine to do that. So I'm not going to do that. I want to keep this character uncopied, unpasted, left entirely alone. You better leave him alone after putting him through all this. I probably will.
Some rear, 'cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
I do think it's funny that for farming for this character, I don't use most of the controls on the key, on the controller. You think you did it? You have the toxin effect on your screen and you're in the back burner? Okay, yep, that's good. As long as you don't touch any more toxin clouds, you will keep that effect. It shouldn't be wiped off of you. Unless you, save quit. Save quitting would do it. But yeah, now you just walk your happy self back over to Candlerack's Crag, walk over to Vora, shoot Vora in his big dumb face, and hopefully he dies before you do. Some days you feel like a toxin cloud. So ultimately deadly to people, but temporarily double their DPS. Can you still take DOT? Yeah, you can. I would advise finding any shield with a corrosive dot immune on it for fighting Bora. But if you kill him fast enough, you don't need it. But that's the thing, you gotta kill him fast enough to not need it. Which you probably will be able to do now, I think. Because now it just comes down to how well are you placing your pellets. That's all that's left, really. That's all the more we can do for you damage-wise. Oh yeah, also, make sure the Pimpernel is slag, because the Pimpernel's base pellet still does slag damage if it is, and then the rest of it is what's fire after that. So you can still slag with the Pimpernel while shooting it. But that's not as big of an issue, because you did just get that crossfire. You have a level 72 one? Okay. Would the best shield be an alkaline with a high delay for inconceivable and all that? I think, well, realistically, the answer would be just use a B shield and then kill him before the dot becomes a problem. But I guess that would match both of your criteria, having an alkaline B shield, because it would have a high delay if you were to get hit, so that you could have inconceivable. Or you could run a green, or like a white rarity alkaline tortoise, so that you could use a legendary titan with that for the health regen, for health gate. But that's like really, really pushing it. That'd be way, way specific for just that one little funny setup. I mean, if you're gonna kill Vora probably close to 1,000 times, it's worth it. I guess so. But in my mind, I would rather kill Vora faster if I knew I had to kill him more times than kill him like a little more consistently. Now I want to go melt Vora. It's okay, we're 40% done, only 60% left. Can you even really get amp shot in, though? Yeah. At the start of the fight, you definitely can. I don't know when I uploaded it, but I uploaded a video where I did shoot Vora in his big dumb mouth without the toxin buff, and I was able to shred him down really, really fast. And I am now going to proceed to try to find it on loading screens.
Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
Oh, thank God I muted my phone. Oh, that would have sucked. I think I did. I know I did. Alright, let's go. Can you shoot me in my big dumb mouth? I mean, the night is young. Now I'm messing up because I'm trying to fiddle. It's not night. It's night somewhere. Close your eyes. It's dark out.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl! Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive!
Okay, I need to ask a favor of somebody. I think the Veracitous kill that I'm thinking of is just called Another One. Like, if you just look up Holy Milk Another One, I think that's the Vora kill video. I'm pretty sure. Oxen buff is insane. You just got 2 kills in 1 Gunzerk duration? Good. That's really good. Yeah, help somebody. Let's go.
Beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl! Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive!
Did you actually find it? Oh my god, it is it. Wow. Okay, shut up, me. Cut it out. That was on the laptop. You know how long ago that was? Anyone's listening to this for like the sleep part of it, and they just heard that, that's funny. You're just trying to sleep, you wake up to He-Man. About an hour and a half in. Sleep? Well, like, because I'm putting this on YouTube, it's gonna be 4 hours of Minecraft music and Beatdown Bar Brawl and me trying not to yell. So I would imagine someone's gonna fall asleep. Or like something, eventually. Someone somewhere along the line. So I think that it would just be funny to be woken up by He-Man. Just in the middle of nowhere. Also, I never used to, like, put YouTube on before I went to bed. But, like, since, well, since my last relationship, that's what I've been doing, is I fall asleep with YouTube on. Because they had, like, Roku or whatever, like the little watch YouTube on, like, anything ever device. And so she would put on, like, Markiplier or, like, Minecraft or, like, something like that. And so we'd just fall asleep with, like, Mark or, like, Minecraft on the TV. So now that's just become a thing that I do, just by myself, as an individual. Now it's a part of my habits. Which I think is good. It helps your brain to just not go burr infinitely. Yeah, I've been having more trouble with that too, I think. The longer I exist, the more my brain is like, hey, stressor, hey, other stressor, hey, we're not gonna sleep for a while. But of course, as soon as I fall asleep, I'm like dead to the world. I will pass out, and then I will not wake up for at least 8 more hours. Well, usually.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
You're really interested in some sleep medication? I have a very weird part of my brain that like doesn't like to be in an altered state, which is really weird because like that's healthy, right? Like most people would consider it healthy to be able to do that. But like it's weird. It's bad cuz like even one time whenever I went to get my wisdom teeth removed and they put me under like anesthetic or whatever, like the thing to make you fall asleep. Whenever I was first falling asleep, my brain felt like it was legitimately trying to fight the sleep because it knew that it wasn't like normal. And that's just how my brain operates whenever it comes to stuff like that. And apparently one of the first things I did whenever I woke up was I just kept insisting that I was awake. So like my brain doesn't like that stuff for some reason. I like being aware too much. Which also sucks, because being aware is unfortunate sometimes, you know? And I don't know where I get it from. I guess I've just been a very sober person my entire life, so it's kind of like boring. But it's just how it was, and how it is. Unfortunately, you won't be talking with the prescriber until August. Well, have you tried melatonin? That's over the... Like, you can just buy that. You go to any vitamin aisle in any store ever, you'll just find melatonin. It's just there. It's what your body generates naturally to try to get you to sleep anyway. So you should just feel like, oh, I am becoming tired. I should sleep. You don't think it does anything for you? Well, I mean, you could try it, you could not try it. If you've already have and it doesn't, then yeah, that is really unfortunate. But I don't know what else it would be. The funny thing is, Grace tried to take melatonin to sleep because she has trouble sleeping. And she just kept complaining that she would wake up really groggy. And the reason she would wake up really groggy is because she would sleep for like 5 hours. And then she would have to wake up. So, melatonin encourages you to get your full 8 hours of sleep. And then she would go and wake up in the middle of a sleep cycle during like REM sleep, and then she would feel groggy. And so it was the melatonin's fault. Because of course it was. It definitely wasn't the fact that she didn't just sleep the required amount of time. If Aura glitched out of the arena, you didn't know that was a bug. I don't know how he would have glitched out of the arena. But Borderlands is full of a bunch of weird bugs, so that would make sense. If you leave his arena and come back, he might fix himself. Yeah, well, I'm not doing the farm as much. Like, I haven't farmed this character for about a month, probably. You see his red dot on the map, but no Vora? I bet he's in the air. The last time you saw him, was he trying to jump at somebody? You think so? You looked away for a second, but you think so. Okay. So, there's this weird thing where certain enemies have leaping attacks, and if they do a leap attack while you are also going upwards, you two can connect, and then they just infinitely go up from there. So, bad news, you're not going to be able to kill him. Good news, you had a really rare bug. Yeah. And I say it's rare, but if you go onto like the Borderlands subreddit, someone will post a new thing about it every single week. Save quick, get the toxin again, then repeat. Yeah, probably. It's very hard to do if you're a newer player, but try to treat it less like a fight and more treat it like you're trying to aim at something, if that makes sense. Because, like, you don't need to jump or, like, really move too much outside of, like, stepping around to, like, see his dumb face. But that should be enough to just let yourself line it up and just get the funny shots off. But, of course, like, that's just min-maxing unnecessary talk. But yeah, unfortunately, he probably did just happen to hit you just the right way while doing a jump attack to just achieve ascension. Yeah. That's a save quitter. pain. Yeah. It does suck. It's very rare that that happens. Like, really, really rare. It usually happens to Savage Lee, because Savage Lee has all those Bullymongs near him, and he'll try to do a jump attack at them, and then they'll try to jump attack back, and they'll clip each other, and then suddenly Savage Lee is just gone. And that's why he's gone, is because them clipping into each other just causes them to just fly. So that's where like 99% of posts about it will be, is just because Savage Lee did it. You've never ever seen that bug before, and you watch a good amount of BL2 content. Huh. Yeah, it happens, and now that I've mentioned it, you'll probably see it more and more. Especially with, like, Savage Lee. I guess we should also, to be fair, I have over 5,200-ish hours on this Steam account playing Borderlands 2. I have watched people play Borderlands 2 for years. I played on the Xbox One and the Xbox 360. So it's still very uncommon of a bug, but it's common enough that I've seen it multiple times. In that case, you'll probably farm a vendor for a Herald? Okay. Yeah, go for it. Hello, Director. Just a second. I'm trying to be somewhat optimal with this, because if I'm not, we're going to be here for over 4 hours instead of under 4 hours. Hi, how goes it? It's going pretty good. You don't have anything next to your name, and I don't like that. Is Moogle also here? Moogle is walking Kita. Damn. Okay. 1 second. Okay. There. It is you. I see. It is you. Yep, it's me, Mario.
It's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
If you wanted to be super OP against Flora, is there an amp damage stacking glitch? There is. It's really weird, and it only applies to your character's offhand. But basically, any amp shield that's not the B, for some reason, you just equip it, and then you just save quit and press continue. And you just do that a lot. Anytime you reload a map, anytime you load a different map, anytime you change maps. If it's the main menu, if it's a map, it stacks the damage of the amp shield on your left-hand shot. And it stays stacked every time that it's triggered. So if you have like a purple amp shield that does like 4 million damage in a shot, you save quit, press continue, now it does like 8 million damage on your left hand. You save quit, you press continue, now it does 12. Repeat. until funny, basically, or until your game might crash. So, like, you just keep that in mind. But yeah, for some reason, doing that causes the damage to just stack on top of itself. Do you have to shoot or just load and save quit? You can shoot, you can not shoot. Either way, it'll stack it. You can use it while you're playing the game. You can just sit there and stack it and then use it. It will forever be there, and it will forever stack until you entirely close the game or unequip that shield. And it's very rarely used, which is really weird. Time to get an amp shield from Snowman chest? I mean, even a green one at this point. But like, yeah, you could. And I didn't used to know exactly why the bug worked, and then I messed with it, and that's definitely what it is. Because we were using like a level 12 amp shield, and we were like chunking bunker with it whenever it regened. So yeah, it works, and it's dumb. It's very dumb. And it'll apply to your left hand, which is your Pimpernel hand, if you're using it for that. But it does require a recharge before it does the damage again, because it still acts like a normal amp shield, outside of the increased damage. Uluga's making you go to the gym when he gets back to save you? Oh, that's fun. The gym is really weird. You almost have to get a Stockholm Syndrome for it to be able to enjoy it. But then it becomes really enjoyable. There's a small fluffy cat in my room, and I'm very distracted by it. Got it okay? Yeah. You do the bad thing and push yourself too hard? That doesn't exist. Pushing yourself the wrong way, however, that exists. It's okay to fully tax your body, as long as it's your muscles and not your joints. As a matter of fact, you would really like powerlifting. I think you would really like powerlifting if that's your thing. But yeah, as long as your form is correct, and you realize that, like, hey, my form doesn't look correct anymore, maybe I should stop. That's when you stop.
Ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks.
Especially since you don't want anything that's physical labor. You don't want to do manufacturing, which you've been doing for the last 3 years. You want to find a company who treats you like a human being, and you need to find one that pays. That's fair, yeah. It's really weird that, like, so many people realize, like, oh, I need to be paid a lot more if I want to be able to live. But at the same time, there's so many positions that don't meet that requirement. And I think people were getting away with that for the longest time just because there wasn't, like, a big, genuine consensus. Like, you didn't have a bunch of people coming together on, like, forums and saying, like, hey, this kind of sucks, doesn't it? You didn't have that, like, hive mind. But now we do have that hive mind. And so more people are realizing, like, hey, this is wrong. And then other people are accidentally finding out about that mindset of, hey, this feels wrong. And so it's more prominent than it used to be, I think. That, and also the fact that, like, our spending value has gone down a lot. Like, back in the 80s, the minimum wage was like $3, but a Big Mac costs 50 cents. Nowadays, the minimum wage averagely across the US is like $8, and a Big Mac costs $8 or more. So the amount of money we make versus the amount of money we spend on stuff from like our own workplaces has drastically changed. It's a little concerning. Definitely a little concerning. But also, I don't know any more about finance than that. So I don't know exactly how concerning the problem is. I just know that specific scenario sounds wrong, and it's what we have. I am not. I fully understand that I, as a human being, am not entirely socially capable quite yet, and so I don't try to make myself a part of societal problems. I probably should, because that's how you learn how to deal with that stuff. But I feel like I need some work first before I go and try to make decisions for a whole group of people. There's been no company that you worked for that treats you like a human. I feel like a lot of that, like, humanity is lost whenever you, like, pass down a business 2 or 3 times. And especially the more times that it gets passed down. Because, like, if you've ever worked for, like, a small company or, like, a small business, it's a lot more familial. It's, like, actually familial. Not like, oh, we are a family. Not that type of thing. But it's like, the you know your boss, you can talk to people and like you know what's up. But if you let that company exist long enough, the guy who made the business, who is passionate about the business, passes it on to the next person because it's time for him to be done. And that person has less feelings involved. And so they make it less enjoyable. And then they pass it on and they pass it on and yeah. But also there are some businesses that are outliers, and like some of them kind of care. But it doesn't feel like most do. So is there any other ways other than save quitting to get rid of the toxin buff? I don't think so. Besides touching another toxin cloud and then walking out of it. I think that's like the only way that'll also ruin it. Gotta get into a union or something? I guess so. Hmm. It's kind of weird that, like, if you look at who wants an increased minimum wage, it's more of like a liberal leaning idea. But if you look at the type of people that typically make up unions, they're usually a little more conservative with their values. Even though they would also probably fight for a higher wage. Stuff like that. I mean, it's also probably kind of nice to see, I assume. I think. I don't know.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl! Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive! Figures.
You know? I mean, I don't know if it's fair to say this, but time-wise, this is kind of going. We haven't even broken the 2-hour mark yet, and we're over halfway. Probably because of all the enemies and stuff. Currently stacking the amp damage. I think you think you'll do it 20 times because you have a 2 mil amp shield. Okay. Make sure you like test it every once in a while to like really confirm that it is stacking that damage. It should be, but just to like just test it. Like go out, shoot a Bullymong in the face with your offhand, and then go back to stacking it, and then shoot him in the face again, and then see if there's a drastic increase. And you can kind of gauge how much damage you'll need based on that. Because I don't know if it's a perfect addition every time. It should be, though. I guess stack it on the smallest map that you can find. Something like Sanctuary, or like Moxie's bar in the Beatdown, or in Thorg DLC. Because faster load times are funnier. Stuff like that. You also pember burning, so anything you shoot will die anyway. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. But also, once again, the damage will only be applied whenever a normal amp shield would apply damage. So when the shield's at full capacity. And then it will hurt the shield like a normal amp shield would be hurt. And then you'll have to wait for it to become full again. But every shot that that shield is full, it's going to have that bug. Continuously. And forever until you, like, close the game. Or load a different character, probably. I would imagine that would also change it. Just the initial pellet that gets a bonus. The will burn damages the other 8 pellets. Well, it should be all of them, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that every pellet of a Pimpernel gets the damage of the amp shield. It should do.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a beatdown bar brawl.
So, yeah, I see.
Fight with the trucks and stay alive.
I just want to go shoot Vora in his big dumb face now to test stuff. For just a couple months, just like a mini coma. No, that's a full coma. I don't know if, like, okay, so TV shows make it sound longer than it is, but if a coma lasts for more than like a week, the person typically just dies. The months, the year-long comas usually don't actually exist, and if they do, that person is an oddity and very lucky. And even if they are resuscitated after that amount of time, they usually have some mental damage and are not able to remember everything. Yeah, comas are terrifying. If you don't get a person awake within a week or two, they're usually done. Worth the risk. It's either not my problem anymore, or it's my problem still. Either way, nothing really changes. Oh well. Stacking 3 horns divide on the off chance that while you're doing it, you get a bonus link. That's fair. And then you could shoot him, and then he'll evaporate too. Anything for the funny.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a beatdown bar brawl. Just pick a fight with the trucks and stay alive.
Can't wait to be able to one-shot these guys. That's gonna be so nice. Just a single melee. That's all I ask. You have a bruise? Why do you have a bruise? What'd you do?
Grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a beatdown bar brawl. Just pick a fight with the trucks and stay alive.
You know, on YouTube, you're able to distinct things as podcasts. I think I should label this as a podcast. That'd be kind of funny. Because, like, you don't really need the visual to know what's happening. Because, like, this is... You hear the Beatdown Bar Brawl dialogue. And then you hear people screaming and gun noises. So it all kind of just, like, it encompasses itself. You know what's going to happen. You know what is happening. The Beatdown Bar Brawl. That's what's happening. There's a small bruise on your arm. It's weird. It's like the color of your veins, but just a bit darker. That's weird. People get bruises just randomly, in the most random ways. It is weird, but it's a thing. Just how things, you look in the direction of an enemy and they perish? Exactly. That is exactly how Sal works. Actually, you know what? I think since they broke Voracitus's health pool so that he has ×2 health, having the ×2 damage from the toxin buff doesn't feel so undeserved. If anything, I think that fixes it. We use the bug to fix the bug. It just makes sense to me now. I never thought about it like this before, but it makes sense. They double his health pool, we double our damage. Exactly. I never thought about it like this before. Like nothing ever happened. Exactly. And it'll still be nearly impossible for everyone who is in Salvador. And sometimes even Salvador. Yeah, I see. I think some medications can cause people to bruise easier. That is true. As far as I remember. That could be the case.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks
Oh
and
yeah.
stay alive.
The extra XP is definitely the decider. I mean, I guess a third of the enemies are going to be level 51, so a third of the time we're going to get +9 XP from them. And then if we kill, like, I don't know, 20 of them a run, probably more like 30. That's like an extra, what, a lot of XP. At least like 270 more XP a run. Which means we're getting like a quarter of a run every run. Which kind of makes sense time-wise.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
Got a random Deepa from Lee. Nice. Or from bonus Lee. Nice. Feels good. You know what I just realized? What'd you realize?
I didn't sign up for this, damn it.
If you want an interfacer that's OP10 and not OP8 or OP9, it's going to be 3 times rare. Yeah. Because Gearbox wanted level variability in their video game. So now, not only do you have to farm for the perfect parts of an item, you have to farm a level variant of it as well. Every drop you've had from Vora has been OP10? Okay, then good. I didn't know if there was a thing that, like, fixes that. Oh yeah, do you run any mods? Guess that would also be a good question. Well, no, because if he had mods, he would have gotten an interfacer by now. That would have been the right one. On console, just plain vanilla. Well, that's nice of him, then. Maybe raid bosses guarantee OP10 drops? I don't know. Maybe raids are different? Well, no, obviously not. The Deepa is Torg Grip, but OP9. Still Torg Grip, and a Deepa. It is unfortunate that it's a level off, though. Oh, well, I guess, yeah. I don't know why. I thought you meant, like, the physical raids themselves were different, not like their drops. I don't know why my brain was being dumb about that. Oh, man, my brain is bad with stuff like that. You know level variants from their loot? Yeah, probably. Which is weird, because I thought, like, the only outlier was, like... I thought the only real outlier was, Uranus, how his entire loot pool all drops to the same level. Just because of how quirky he is. You have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. You've never farmed max level raids? Yeah, that's fair. Didn't. Don't. Oh, but it's so exciting and so fun and only really easily repeatable on Salvador. I think the main issue with raid boss drops is they're handled like normal boss drops. And a normal boss can just be melted. So farming a normal boss hundreds of times isn't so bad. Farming a raid boss hundreds of times, a little worse. So like if it could have like a guaranteed fixed part on it for 3, and then the only variant was like the element and like the prefix, that'd be pretty peachy, you know? But then you'd have people complaining about the fact that like, oh, well I want this grip because it does this. Off to the gym, wish you luck, good luck, have fun. Moogle will be on after. Pog. The only in-game content you really do is mobbing on Krieg. Yeah. But like the difference between doing mobbing and like doing a raid at OP10 is like insane. You know? I wish that was how Krieg at OP10 was. Krieg at OP10 is not the same overpowered character that can just cause a big old chain to rip through a room. Unfortunately. Because usually what you really end up doing is just barely killing stuff. So that you can stay alive and keep going. Only had Sal and Zero Max? Gotcha. Well, Krieg in like normal... Well, okay, Krieg in like TVHM and early UVHM, 100%. You're gonna chain blood explosions. You're gonna feel like a Giga Gamer, just like destroying everything, right? But you take that same Krieg and put him in like OP levels, you're not really overkilling anything anymore. And suddenly, nothing just chain explodes. Or if they do, it's very rare. And it's like up skags into like normal skags. Which is still really neat. But it's not the same as like destroying Bloodshot in like one melee. Right, we're at least 2/3 done. We have assumedly a little over an hour left, which means that we really did shave a lot of time off today. Probably just from the extra XP from the mobs, which is super duper nice. But we're getting real close to that point where mobs don't drop XP anymore, and we're just gonna have to kind of hope that everything is going according to plan. Only another hour, Pog. Hey, that XP bar has certainly moved today. I mean, at the start, it was nothing. Now, it's still barely anything, but it's 66% more of that thing. After we're done with this, we're gonna calculate how long it'll take to level up if we all, like, did one more level. And then we'll calculate how much time we have until level 80 again. Because now I'm curious about the level by level basis. Because I need to know when to start doing half levels. Because it's gonna show up real soon. The difference between levels after a little bit is gonna be nuts. You know what else is nuts? Tell me about it. What is it? Is it our sponsor Raid Shadow Legends? The one that I don't have. This expanse of a universe we live in? Oh yeah, no, it's quite daunting. Because, like, have you ever looked out at, like, a really big body of water and realized that you're, like, nothing compared to it? If you take that same scale and then scale it out to, like, the entire Earth, that body of water is nothing compared to the Earth. And then if you scale that out to our solar system, that rock is nothing compared to our solar system. And then you compare that to the galaxy, nothing compared to the galaxy. You compare that to the universe, nothing compared to the universe. So that makes you infinitely tiny. But hey, we be hallucinating and we out here living on the rock. So it's pretty lit. It's a good time. I am nothing and still do nothing every day. Let's go. You ever think about why we're here? It's the great question of the universe. No, I mean here, in this canyon. Oh. Basically what Milk is saying is that none of us are significant. No, we're quite significant by the fact that we can realize all of this. Are you kidding me? The fact that you as a human being can feel that level of depth and hollowness and aloneness, and then you realize that there are billions of us and we all can feel that individually as ourselves. That's like insane. That's so much. Every deep and thoughtful emotion you've ever had has happened to billions of people. And that's billions of people. That's a lot of people. That's so many people. It's unfathomable amounts. Like, that's crazy. Like, if Warhammer 40k were a real universe, we would be screwed. We'd be totally overrun by actual demons. By, like, real demons. Like, that'd be a problem. Because there's just so much of it.
Cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl! Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive!
And then, like, it's like a lot of people. It is. It's so many people. And then, like, another way I like to think about it is think about how detailed we know Borderlands 2. Think about the fact that I'm able to just recite the toxin buff, or the offhand amplified shield glitch, or even something like double shotting, or something simple like that, and the fact that there are thousands of hours of knowledge behind this. And then you think about the fact that this is one video game out of the thousands that have been made. And then you think about the fact that people write books this deep, and that there are hundreds of thousands of books. And then you think about the fact that there are real world issues, that there are hundreds of thousands of those, and they're all this deep or deeper. Like, there's so much. That should be incredible, if not kind of terrifying, because you'll never know any of it, or most of it. But that also means that there's always something to learn, if you're interested. And we're all on one tiny little rock in space, and there could be another tiny little rock in space with the same amount of depth. Like, so much stuff. Such an insane amount of stuff. And we just be out here, chilling. Is the toxin buff going away if you bleed out? Your brain hurts? You're welcome. I think you're welcome, I don't know. I'd like to learn about you. That sucks. I don't like saying that. Got a very old Greg energy about it. No, but realistically, I overthink a lot of stuff, and I almost become paralyzed by the sheer volume of things that are capable of this world. And then I go play my video games, and my video games are so enjoyable after that. Oh, same? Yeah, let's go.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with
But yeah, I guess if there's no toxin buff on your bar, and there's no, like, toxin stuff happening on your screen, it might be gone. It's probably gone, realistically. Which sucks, but also, I believe in you. You deal enough damage, you just didn't know it. You are the capable. I believe. When you try to do a project, you think about the whole entire project at once. I have that issue too. Like, there have been times where, like... Okay, so... This was, like... You didn't have the right class mod on. Oof. But, hey, at least you can put it on and deal a lot more deeps now. That's good. Is it perfectionism? Because, like, my brain does that with, like, conversation pieces, too, though. Like, I don't have any good examples because I basically talked to nobody for, like, 4 years besides, like, Grace. But, like, whenever I would talk to her, and we would talk about a world issue, she would bring up an idea, and then she would ask, basically, why. And then my brain would have to scroll across everything in relevant history that has happened to lead up until this point, instead of just basically saying, because people suck. Which is ultimately what the conclusion usually was. Like, my brain has to go through that whole catalog of things. You want to present yourself as the perfect version of yourself, or the facade you want to put up to those around you? Well, I don't do that. I just... I have a problem where I can manifest a really good idea in my brain, but then my ability to convey it, because it's constructed without words and it's basically just a thought or an emotion, is really hard. Like, that's the main issue I have with stuff like that. Because I can think of things in a very fragmented, um, what's what's the word for, like, when something's not quite manifested kind of way, like that kind of thing, you know what I mean? In a very abstract way, I guess. So, like, whenever you present me with something, it's like, it's really abstract, or like it's a fragmented thought that, like, I can pull pieces of it, but if you ask me to, like, lasso the whole thing together and, like, organize it, that's gonna be quite the effort, to the point where my brain basically just says, like, this is too much effort. Especially compared to, like, what we really want out of this, which is, like, not a whole lot. Because it'll be, like, a question about, like, one moderately heated topic, one, like, somewhat pseudo-political question, and my brain will want to factor in everything. But it's very hard for my brain to factor in everything, because that encompasses everything. So, like, it's a lot of stuff. It's so many stuffs put together to make, like, one bigger stuff. Also, I'm curious, is this... There. Okay, it is playing. It is just not. It's a complicated subject and context is important. Yeah. But, like, the question will be simple. It'll be a simple, like, question. When the reality my brain puts it under is the fact that, like, well, there were these groups, and then this happened, and then this might be a factor because of certain people that were in power at that point who might have wanted things a certain way, and then, like, my brain just starts stacking and stacking, stuff like that. And then also, like, depended on how people were at the time, and, like, what the general psychology of the nation was, and, like, my brain starts to stack it. And then eventually I hit a point where I just run out of, like, visual memory. The memory leak happens, and then the game crashes, and then it restarts. And it's like, okay, what do I really need out of this? Hold on. Let's just grab what I need, get out. Where's my last BA? Oh, I just didn't kill him outright, okay. Kind of weird, like, both sides of my family. Do you also hate small talk? I wish I was good at small talk. I have a hard time getting invested unless I'm, like, talking about something I actually care about, though. Because, like, I feel like I'm wasting their time and they're wasting my time, and, like, it's just... neither of us are entirely enjoying what we're talking about. And, like, I enjoy someone's presence. I love hanging out with somebody. Even if it's just, like, a quiet, call or something like that. Because, like, that's what Grace and I used to do. Like, we didn't have stuff to talk about 24/7, but we'd hang out in a Discord call. Just hang out. Didn't need to talk. Just hung out. You had that presence there. You had a person if you needed a person. Like, that's all I wanted out of it. That's all we needed out of it. Kind of thing. So, that's how I am about it. And, like, sure, we can do the whole, that weather yesterday was sure some, wasn't it, brother? Yes, sir, it really was, but hey, we needed that rain now, didn't we? Yes, we did, brother. Yes, sir. Like, we can do all that if you really want to. But, I kind of feel bad. Because, like, okay. This was the first time I was at the bowling alley. And I was at the bowling alley, and I wasn't bowling because I was watching my family bowl, because it was like a summer tournament that they had signed themselves up for, and I was just there as like moral support. So I brought my laptop, and I was playing on my laptop, and I was sitting there and I was playing. And an old man walked by, and he had just been making idle chatter with literally everybody at this point. And not like no one seemed to really care either way about the conversations that they were having. And so he just walked by and he peeked over and he was like, "You playing a Nintendo or something?" And instead of just correcting him or like telling him anything about what I was doing, I just went, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And then he just walked off. I didn't care to correct him. It didn't matter. I didn't care. And then it just ended and it was great. Like, he just let that be the end of the conversation. He's like, "Okay." And he walked off. Which I really appreciated that, because that was nice. Because for the most part, I've always lived with people who have been like, "No, I've tried to initiate a conversation, now I need to stay and like try to see it through." But he just understood that I was like, "Yeah, like, we don't have anything in common. Yeah, it's basically what it is to you." And then he just said, "Alright," and he moved on. And I respected that more, I think. Because, like, ever been diagnosed with neurodivergency? ADHD, OCD, anything like that? I was taken to anger management as a child, and they assumed I had ADD, so basically the lesser version of ADHD. But I've never been specifically diagnosed with anything. When I went to anger management, I didn't do anything. Basically, they realized that my stepmom at the time just sucked. And she wanted to just drag me into stuff because she was that type of person. And they realized that. And so my doctor basically said, "Okay, you just tell me one thing, and I'll just let you play with the board games that I have." And I was like, "Alright, sounds good." And then I just did that for a couple weeks until they realized that there was no point. And then they stopped bringing me to anger management because I was not the problem. Okay, Josh. Have fun. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your going to the shops and stuff. Yeah, that could be a cause for anger. Yeah. Well, because, like, I had the type of stepmom that, like, just takes her anger out on one person. And whenever my dad and her were together, I was that person. I was never physically abused, just probably, like, verbally, I would imagine. Funnily enough, I can't remember most of it. but I am told it was a little rough. So that's probably was, considering the fact that I don't remember a lot of it. So there we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Repressed memories. Oh. Actually, though, apparently. Also, I think that's why whenever I was with Grace, she like really obsessed over any time that I would tell her a story about my childhood, because I couldn't remember most of the time. And then like every once in a while something would just be brought up and I'd be like, oh yeah, I did this thing. And she's like, what? And I would explain it, because I have that bad memory. Because, yeehaw, funny. And so that was fun. Just being able to be like, yeah, I remember this thing. And she's like, oh my god, you remembered something, what? That was good. I think it's also probably why I repeat myself a lot now. At least I feel like I repeat myself a lot now. Just saying like similar things, which could probably also be an issue. Probably is an issue. But we deal. You know. We party. Look at me just trauma dumping on the internet. Let's go. We be out here. That is true, I see. Just one poor guy who's just like, I just want to watch Borderlands. Why is he so sad? Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, guy. But that's funny, though. I don't know why it's so funny, but that's so funny to me. Yeah, it's also going on YouTube. It is, but this is going to be, like, buried in the middle of it. So someone really has to either be paying attention or care to know. So I think it's perfectly okay to put on there. Because the only people that'll find it are the people that are already probably numb from watching me just shoot stuff. Or from listening to me ramble for the past 2 hours and 43 minutes and 48 seconds and however long it's been. So how about them Deepas? Oh, you know, they got some good, some bad. They got matching grips, they got not matching grips, they got that weird sight on them. Got that TV scope, they got the no TV scope. I personally don't like the zoom on a Deepa because they're not accurate enough to really take good advantage of that zoom. So I'm more of like the what are they called? What would you call a sight that doesn't have zoom? Just that? More of like your Molly-Wand sights or like your little Torg sight. I don't really like the TV scope. The Vladoff scope is kind of okay though. I respect that. Those are fine. Grog. Iron sights? I don't know if I like the iron sights on a Herald though. Because like whenever you shoot, the whole gun just like eats the screen for a second, and that feels annoying. Actually, I think that's like one of the main reasons to run a scope on anything in this game, is just because you don't have the whole gun flipping up in the way like it would in real life. But on something so inaccurate like a Herald, I'd rather just hip fire it realistically. I'm not gonna really zoom in with it. And also for the frog nozzle, I mean, you gotta go with the matching grip, of course. And then you either get melee or you get like binary prefix, whatever the Molly-Wand equivalent to binary is. Oh, wait, no, it can't get ×2. Can it? It can. Can it? I don't remember. Zooming probably gives you an accuracy boost, but in this game, does it really matter? That's how I like to think about it. Because, like, okay, people treat accuracy in this game as if every crit spot isn't, like, super big or, like, really close to you at all times. You know what I mean? Because, like, they're super big or they're really close to you most of the time. Accuracy as a stat, like, it's okay, but it doesn't matter that much. Now, of course, if you're using, like, a Patriot, that sucks, but that's such an outlier. Most snipers never have that issue. Patriot is not even worth using? It's not. 99% of the time, whenever you're zoomed in, you do not get a hit in the middle of your reticle. You could be not have shot once, and it'll just shoot, like, as far away as possible. They're so bad. Yeah, no. I think I would literally rather use, like, a blue Vladov sniper over a Patriot, for sure. What is the benefit of the Patriot anyway? Does it have a special effect outside of being really inaccurate? Does it, like, deal slightly more damage to balance it, quote unquote? Probably. Ooh. 80% done. You have the stream on while you're out. Can't miss it when you hit 56. Gamer, it's gonna be... You'll probably be back before then. It's okay. You know what would be hilarious, Icy? What if I bought a terabyte flash drive and uploaded every single video of this character's progression onto it alongside the save file? And then, like, 100 years from now, an archaeologist will find it and they'll open it and they'll be like, oh my god, is this what people were doing back then? You know how funny that would be? Truly milk lore. Ancient milk lore, that'd be so good. They just unearth a flash drive and it's just gigs, like tons and tons of storage of just one dude playing a single character for hundreds of hours for the sole purpose of a bad joke. And they would weep because they would know it was the pinnacle. They'd start, like, digging through it, try to, like, scrub everything and be like, no, there has to be a secret in here. There's a code in here somewhere. This isn't just some kid trauma dumping on the internet while playing Salvador. There's gotta be more to it. They would learn everything about the video game all in one go. It'd be too much knowledge. Patriot has increased base damage, not sure how much more, but it's also slower projectile, awful accuracy, way smaller mag, and longer reload. Yeah, so like, why is that good? Who designed that and was like, yeah, they'll thank me for this. Oh hey, a pitchfork. We should hold on to like every level 50 legendary we get. That could be fun. Although I'm gonna miss a lot of them, because I do just kind of run. Actually, I do think it'd be funny if, like, a year from now, there was, like, a controversy about the fact that I didn't have levels 48 to, like, level 50 uploaded onto YouTube. And then there would be one person trying to say, like, no, he streamed it, though. I saw it. And then everyone else would be like, whatever, he cheated those 2 levels. We all know it. That'd be hilarious to me. Yeah, how funny that'd be. Because I don't have a level 48 to 50 video. Because I was just farming Terra during that time, so I didn't include it. Seraphim Pearl balancing is really dumb. They gave it a buff compared to regular items, and even though they're way harder to get, they were still like, we gotta make sure the buff isn't too much. So let's just give it a nerf for 12. Yeah. It really, really sucks. You would think they would, like, not do that. And then cripple the item, yeah. You know, I think it would be funny if me farming level 80 in normal mode picked up enough traction that, like, Gearbox tried to, like, say something. And then I just, instead of replying to them, I just, like, go around the community and see what's still broken. And then I just hit them with that instead of talking to them. That would be, like, the ultimate fever dream. But that would require, like, so much more effort. And also, like, for them to care as a company. They reach out to you, ignore what they say, and instead advertise your new products to them. That would be funny. Also, I know it's completely unrelated, and this guy was probably just creatively, like, separate, and also probably smart, and also probably really cool. But the guy who released the video of asking if you can hit level 50 in normal mode without completing the first mission, yeah, of course you can. There's a ton of ways to do it. All I'm saying is I'm glad that I uploaded like the first couple videos of this before that video dropped. Or else it would feel like I was trying to like do a reversal of what he's doing.
Get ready to grab a beer and drink some beer, 'cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
Okay, so the original time estimate was almost exactly 4 hours, and now we're looking at like 3.5. That's pretty nuts. That's a lot of time saved just because the mobs still give XP. You like mozzarella sticks? Me too, dude. I respect that thoroughly. You know, it's weird that like outside of like grilled cheese or like mozzarella cheese sticks, if you just gave me like a bread and a cheese mix, I probably wouldn't like it. But the second you like fry it, put some butter on it or something, I'm totally down. I don't know what that's about. Like if you put just cheese in a tortilla by itself, I'd probably eat it. It'd be sad. Well, like I'd probably still try. But the second you like deep fry it, or like make a grilled cheese out of it, I'm down. Okay, well, why would you leave work right now? Is anything going on? I mean, besides the obvious fact of like you don't like your job. Went to the shop for 4 monsters, only paid for 3, you're not complaining. Nice. It's just a struggle to stay here. Gotcha. I mean, it's up to you. I would continue to work, though, because you're... I mean, like, you kind of will need the pay, especially if you do actually plan on leaving. You know? You're not dying. That's a real good way to look at it, Icy.
Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
Day by day you'll get through whatever it is. Oh yeah. Slowly but surely. The rock spins. Okay, so I guess the way I see that I try to look at it is I enjoyed my past if I think back on it. So the odds are I'll enjoy what I did now if I look back on it later as well. Or at least I'll have the memory of it. And so it must be worth doing. Simply at least for that. Hey, another Berserker comic. Look at that. If you look back at every point in your life, you've had some big stuff you had to deal with, but not enough time to recover in between. So if the future reflects the past, you don't... Yes. I don't know. I think... Eventually, I would assume that most people turn out. Whether you like the amount of time it takes to turn out, that's entirely up to you, I guess. But I think everybody eventually turns out. So I think holding on at least for that is worth it. We're getting there.
Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay alive.
Crazy that I'm thinking like, oh yeah, we got 10% left, it's gonna take less than like 24 minutes, it's gonna be so good. And then I look at our XP bar, and it's such a small gap. But it's also 24 more minutes, which is really, really funny. Because it's like, wow, that is rough that it's gonna take that long, but we're almost there. Yeah, also fun fact, it is 98 degrees outside and I think I'm feeling the residual from it. Your boy is getting warm. Did you say 98? Yes. Almost 100 degrees out. Probably later this week it will be. 69 degrees there. I hope you mean temperature-wise. Please tell me this isn't a joke. Oh, no, okay. It was a joke. Oh. After runs, I won't be able to see you hit 56. The stream has been fun, though. Oh, well, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. It'll be on... Well, I guess it'll be on YouTube if you just want to skip the first 3 hours and like 20-ish minutes. But otherwise, have a good day. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. Back next stream for sure. Very interactive and enjoyable to watch. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm still gonna shoot Vora in his big dumb face though, just to see. Bye gamer. Keep hanging out. Yeah, milk is alright. Thanks. It's really weird. Like, I don't know how I feel about the compliments and stuff. I better see the Vora kill on YouTube, but anyways, goodbye. I mean, I already have a Vora kill on YouTube, but still, thank you. Appreciate it. Do you know how weird it is, Icy, to see comments about stuff like, oh, you're underrated, or like, oh, I'm surprised you're not bigger, or like, oh, you, like, your stream is funny, or like, whatever. And then we chillin', and then we're here. Although I will say, I was going to bed the other day, and I saw a really nice comment on my YouTube, and it helped me sleep. Because I knew I was going to be in my own brain. But I saw that comment, and I was like, yeah. It feels good. It does feel good. I've been told by someone that you're their favorite Borderlands content creator, and you're like, oh? Yeah, right? I think it's one of those things where, like, I didn't start streaming Borderlands 2 until, like, 2019. And Borderlands 2 was expired by then, probably. For most people. So it's like, oh wow, you're such a good Borderlands streamer. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I showed up a little late. I think that's the main thing. You just show up late. Yeah, that's a fun fact, by the way. I figured out when I became an affiliate. I mean, I had it written down, and I forgot that I wrote it down, but I refound it. Which probably is a concern for my mental health that I just had to say that like that. But I rediscovered that I had written down when I had hit an affiliate on Twitch. And it's wild. Because it's December 13th, 2019. And I started streaming in, like, July of the same year. But not much. I didn't really stream a whole lot. It was very inconsistent. But it's wild to me that was a thing. Sometimes you forget how long you do something until you see, like, a physical date and you're like, oh. Ah, okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure. Like, brother, I have 2 YouTube videos that I've actually put some effort into, and I stream like once a month. But doesn't that kind of encourage you to do it more? Sometimes it makes me feel bad. But, like, it also encourages me to do more stuff. Because it feels like it's not for nothing, at the very least. Because you'll be like, well, I know at least one person's gonna watch this and possibly enjoy it, and that's pretty lit. Because sometimes I make jokes for myself. So if I make a joke for myself and someone else laughs, perfect. Cool. Just one dude, we're linked that day. Oh, I see. I don't try to think about it like that. I am here to do a funny that hopefully some other people will think is also a funny. And then if enough of us think it's funny, I can just keep doing that. But like Markiplier once had no subs? Yeah. But like Markiplier started on the cusp of YouTube, and like he had everything in place whenever the RNG kicked in. And also, he covers a very broad spectrum because he plays a lot of stuff. And people find him charismatic and funny and stuff. His old videos are still charming. Like they haven't, I mean they've aged, but they're still charming. I play Borderlands 2 on controller. So I don't know if that's an apt, but like, yeah, it's still a comparison, but like still. Although, I will say, I did a little bit of the math on a little bit of the YouTube, and if I keep going the way I'm going, I could keep going the way I'm going. Hopefully. But it requires like a very specific amount of like yeehaw, you know? And it would require a little bit more luck too. How you doing, Raid? Welcome on in. We are prepping for TVHM. As you can see, we are level 55. We're trying to work on it. It's going pretty good. Don't haw when you should have yee. Nah, but we're working on the level 80 project. It's just a dumb thing that I've decided to start doing to myself. It's not a good idea. We just listen to chill music and see how far we can take a normal mode character level-wise. Level 80 project? Yes. So this Salvador has completed normal mode and gone no further. As in, like, if I loaded TVHM right now, it would be the intro cutscene. And we took him through the base game. We fought Terra with him a couple of times. We eventually hit level 50. And then I said, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I just increased the goal? What if we just hit level 80 in normal mode? And here we are. Also, yeah, that is true. The mobs still give XP. Eventually they won't, and I won't even be able to tell when I killed them, which is like gonna psych me out a lot. It's gonna probably increase the amount of time it takes to clear these. But for right now, most of the BAs still give XP, so I can still tell whenever I got a kill, and that's super helpful. See you in a week when you finally hit level 80? I mean, yeah, it would take almost exactly a week of constant play, but I'm not doing that. this is a character that I am going to work on from time to time, because leveling up once has taken over 3 hours and 15 minutes so far, because we haven't leveled up at all, and I've been doing this the entire time I've been live today. So, yeah. And we just been listening to chill music, we've been talking about our feelings and touchy stuff, and also about nerd stuff and stuff. Basically just stuff. We've been crying. No, I almost did though. Which is funny. It is funny, I almost did actually at one point whenever I was talking about something. That was like an hour or something into it. Yeah, it was when I was explaining the Chick-fil-A story. Normalized male crying. Yeah, that's a fair statement to say. But also, we're like 23 years deep into this whole feeling repression thing, so like, that phrase doesn't do a whole lot for me, unfortunately. It takes a lot for me to cry, basically. You want to say that you noticed that? I mean, like, the inflection in my voice might have changed, but like, overall, we're fine. And also, I don't like to constantly bring up stuff that upsets me, because number one, it'll upset me. Number two, that's not why we're here. But being able to talk about stuff and it be normal is important too, though. Like, the more you explain stuff, the better it should be. When the mobs stop giving XP, how do you level up? The quest itself. The quest rewards exactly 1000 XP. To level up from level 55 to 56, will have taken roughly 240 mission completions worth of XP. Yep, that's right. And we calculated it, and it's like right there. Gonna take a lot longer to hit level 80. And then I'm gonna put this character on a flash drive, and we're gonna put this character's flash drive onto like a plaque or like something of importance, and then he will stay there forever, unadulterated by TVHM or any further difficulty. Okay, I'm listening. 0. Also, yeah, we calculated. Time-wise, this probably takes about as long as getting a perfect sham can, which is hilarious, but also very discouraging. Not for me, but for people who farmed the sham. Don't go through this pain? No, this is fine. What do you mean? I don't do this every day. I do this, like, the last time I did this was like 3 weeks ago. You aren't gonna do anything at level 80? I mean, we could go punch Terra in his big dumb mouth, I guess. We could go punch Vora in his. We could do a victory lap. That'd be fun, yeah. You know what? Yeah, that'd be funny. Just put a melee build on the character and just go punch stuff. It's better than what most of my characters get. Most of the time, whenever I hit level 80 OP10 and I'm like satisfied with the character, I just delete it. So like, this character is going to get a lot better treatment. Although it's a lot more time investment too. One victory lap, set the flash drive in, clear resin, sounds appropriate. Well, no, I want to be able to pull it out again. I don't want to break it. No, I'll just put it in like a little case or something though. I don't know. Put it on top of like a little trophy pedestal. Do peek in normal mode? Yeah, it's only level 35. I could go do it right now. I could just go punch stuff. We could just go get a rapier. We could duplicate it to ourselves by setting the character to read-only mode and putting it in Claptrap Stash. All things are possible through Gearbox, who tries to break my game. It would be nice to almost be done with this, though. No, only punch, no stab. Well, yeah, we have uppercut, which quadruples your damage, by the way, every time you uppercut. So you take the damage of the 2 rapiers, then you multiply it by 4. That's how much that hook is doing.
Get ready to grab a beer and kick some rear, 'cause it's time for a Beatdown Bar Brawl. Just pick a fight with the drunks and stay
All things are possible through Randy. This magic deteriorates us. True. They try to break our favorite game by releasing a bad DLC that breaks the end-game content. What do? We double down. We play the first half of the game even more. This day our daily $300 shirt. Hallowed be thy name. Give us our 10-year anniversary gun codes that don't even work on the old consoles. Let's go. What's that? You want an OP10 Deepa? What's that? You're on an Xbox 360. You can't use that. That OP requirement on that gun is at least OP18. Get wrecked. Get rolled, kids. Sorry. Not sorry. About that 10-year anniversary though, huh? That sucked. That felt so bad. It really did. Just like, here's a couple game codes. Here's a couple gibbed guns that people could give themselves. Here's a leftover mask from one of the things that nobody wanted. Happy 10 years. Hear me out. All they need to do is send one intern to go ask around the community what bugs everybody wants fixed, and then just patch those, and we would take that as a 10-year anniversary gift, because people who don't want it would just down patch their game, and everyone else would be happy. Or give us a mod browser like Skyrim has, so that console players can experience the mods that the PC people have been playing this whole time. That'd be cool too. And all they'd have to do is ask the modders how to do it. They wouldn't even have to figure it out themselves. Someone else would do it. Between the Python SDK and VLCMM and now the new Unreal Engine modifying stuff, someone would be able to figure it out, surely. The actual devs who worked on the actual game. What's the one and only one bug you would cast your vote to have fixed? That's a good one. Let me think about this. No, Sal is fine. I want Sal to stay. It's like the most annoying part about this game that still exists. Oh yeah, no, if Gearbox was like how Redigit is with Terraria, we would actually have a good game that like wasn't broken all the time. God, what would we fix? I mean, there are so many different ways to crash other people's games still. There are so many ways to like soft lock character. There are so many ways to, like, randomly die with arguably no good reason. Krieg exists. Like, there's so many things. Yeah, how about just get rid of Shift? Because Shift servers rely on Steam servers. So whenever Steam servers down, like, whenever Steam servers go down, Shift servers go down. And whenever Shift servers go down, we can't do anything. And they go down more than Steam servers do. And also, they barely work. Or... There's so many issues with this game. I don't know where we would even start or stop. Okay, we have like 2 more runs. Yours might be Tesla's not working on uneven ground. Tesla's not working on uneven ground. Knockback from explosives is absorbed by certain tiles, so you can't rocket jump on them. Stuff. There's just so much stuff. Yeah, I don't... Like, there's too much stuff that's, like, broken. You were kicked out of your game mid-peak run once? Because Shift servers went down. Yeah, that sucks. Why is that a thing? Why does anyone have to deal with that? That shouldn't be a thing. Everyone knows that shouldn't be a thing. Also, if I'm playing in single player, why does Shift servers even matter? Why do they cause the game to freeze up sometimes? There was literally a time where I couldn't play Borderlands 2 for like a week because anytime I would try to open the game, it would put me through a loop of trying to connect to online, and then it would disconnect itself, and then it would try to reconnect again, and then it would disconnect itself, and then it would try to reconnect again, and it would kick me back to the home screen every time. And this is on computer. I had to run Steam in offline mode when I wanted to play Borderlands 2 for like a week because it was just broken. Okay. Are we here? Did we reach the level? One more. That's all it's gonna be. Just the one. Let's do this. This time. Let's just fix the fight for your life timer bug, where the fight for your life timer doesn't reset properly sometimes. I'll cast my vote on that one so that it'll get fixed so that people can stop complaining about it. That one's good. You just lost a gauge to that? Yeah, exactly. See? That stuff. Because, like, you thought you were outside of combat? Nah. You've been in combat. For the past 5 minutes that you've been walking through Sanctuary and then traveled to a different map, you got downed once, now you're suddenly dead. Get wrecked. Alright. Here it is. Moment of truth. Level 55. 3 hours and 30 minutes. 56. Let's go. Alright, cool. So, what do I even spec on this character? I don't need any of it. The weapon swap speed, I don't need that. Fire rate, don't really need that. It doesn't matter. We're not using any of it. Also, how much stuff did I pick up? Oh yeah, we got a level 50 pitchfork, so that was cool. We have a cooldown relic we don't need. We have an explosive relic we don't need. We have 2 berserker comms. We picked one of those up. That was pretty cool. We have a skin, which we're going to keep because it's technically a legendary. We picked up a random that, so we're going to swap that out. We have our amp shield that we've been goofing with. We have a random spike shield for some reason. Don't know why. And yeah, cool. So that was level 55 to 56. Current build, I guess. We don't really need a build. Like, we just need... Yippee-ki-yay is our build. Maybe down not out would be cool if I ever got downed. But, like, that's really it. So let's go ahead and calculate how long it'll take to get from level 56 to level 57. I don't know why I'm holding this calculator, because I'm going to use the one on my computer. So, we take this number, subtract this one. I lose my space very quickly, just a heads up. And then we get 1,000 XP a run. Another 240, let's go! Sweet, so next time is going to take the exact amount of time that it took this time. Which really sucks. But oh well. So that's how long our next level is going to take. About 4 hours. Probably 3.5 because we still probably get a little bit of XP. But like 4 hours. So let's compare that to 958 minus... Divide that by 1,000. We have approximately 8,077 more runs to go until we hit level 80. Let's go. How much time investment is this? About 134 hours. Why is that time different from the time that I calculated up here? I don't know. Oh well. Either way, cool. We've done the thing. Feels good. Level 80 project for today is done.